Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see by the title, today we're going to be doing a full face of makeup 10 and under, because even though it's a drugstore makeup, a lot of products have been getting higher in prices. So I wanted to keep this to $10 and under for a full face of amazing products. And I also wanted to show you guys the brand new e.l.f. Beauty Glow Wands, because those are under $10 and we're going to be putting them on our face today. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. So, if you for some reason don't see like your favorite products on this video, just know that I've done a couple of these videos and I tried to like redo them, updating them with newer products. So if you do want to see like a lot more recommendations, I will put in my description down below just more videos that I've done similar to this, if you're trying to save some coin and buy some amazing products. To start off, we're going to prep the lips with one of my favorite lip masks out there, and it just so happens to be under $10. This is the e.l.f. Skin lip mask. Well, it's a holy hydration lip mask. This is like, it looks like a blue mask, but to be honest, it doesn't have that much pigment. See how it just made my lips just a little bit like cooler tone, but you really can't tell. This is the best. Look at my lips. It is like one of the best lip masks, to be honest, for me personally. It feels like a thicker gel consistency, not sticky. It smells like blueberries, and it reminds me a lot of the Laneige glowy lip masks. Not the ones in the jar, but the ones in the tube, and those are my favorites from Laneige, and this honestly replaced it. They feel super nice. I love wearing it at night, during the day, before I do my makeup, and so inexpensive and amazing. Alright, moving on to primer. This is honestly one of my only go-to primers at the moment. And as most of you guys know, this is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I really like both this original one as well as the one with niacinamide. To be honest, for me, they feel the same. This is obviously a gripping primer. It is just like a primer that is easy to wear with any type of look. I haven't had any foundation like not work with this primer. It adds a little bit of hydration without making you like dewy. It gives a little bit of glow without making you oily. And it also obviously becomes very sticky and it grips on to your makeup. So I just feel like this is such like an easy primer for anyone to use, and I love that it's also $10. So I'm gonna let it sit for a second so it gets extra sticky, and then we'll go in with our foundation. So for foundation, the newer foundation that I've been loving that is under that price range is from Essence. This is the Essence Keep Me Covered foundation. So this one's interesting because it is a transfer proof and waterproof foundation, and it's supposed to be a matte finish, but to me it gives me more of a satin. By the way, I have normal to dry skin, and this works perfectly fine for me. This is the consistency of it, and this is 1.5 pumps. I really don't use much product, and with any foundation I love warming it up on my fingers and then kind of spreading it out and then going in with a brush or a sponge. I really like this foundation because, again, I think it's one of those foundations that really will work for a lot of people. Not the biggest fan of the concealer that is with this line, but this foundation is super nice. It's super inexpensive, and I love that it is like such a thin formula. You really don't have to build it up a lot to get like more of like a medium to full coverage. If you are wondering, I use the shade 130 medium. If you do have more oily skin, going with a mattifying primer or going with a glowing primer if you have more dry skin, but I do think it's very versatile, and I mean, it's under $10. How many times am I gonna say this in this video? Moving on to maybe the products you guys are all here for. I have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Wands. I already did try them out, so this is not going to be a first impression. That's why I felt comfortable like adding them in this video. And then if you don't know, these are essentially going to be like liquid bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. So I did pick up a couple shades. Let me give you guys some swatches and then we'll apply them on the skin. So for the contour ones, I did get the shade Medium Tan, which is this darker one at the top, and I also got the shade Light Medium at the bottom. Here are the two blushes that I got. The top one is Berry Radiant, which is a nice berry shade, and the bottom one is called Rose You Slay, and it's more of a coral shade. And at the bottom is the highlighter, and this is in the shade Champagne Campaign. The only shade that I've been using actually is the medium tan, but let's just try to use a light medium just to see if it does anything. Obviously, I am more medium skin tone, but just to try it out. But spoiler alert, I really like this formula. I definitely think that they are worth the hype, and of course, they're super inexpensive. So as you guys can see, very pigmented, but they blend really, really nicely. I definitely added way too much product. Obviously, the way I placed it is gonna work more as like a bronzer shade, but this would actually be a really nice shade to contour with, which is what it's supposed to be. They're very glowy, but the contour ones are not like shimmery like the blushes. And I feel like a lot of these products end up being kind of shimmery, even though you're supposed to like contour and bronze with them. I want to show you guys my preferred shade, which is a shade medium tan. This one for me, I really like it. Again, to bronzer. I don't really contour only much anymore. But see how beautiful, sorry, my hair is in the way. Get out of here, baby hairs. See, it's a little bit deeper, but they're both pretty nice shades, and I do think that they did really well with all the undertones, at least for my skin tone. You guys let me know if you guys have liked it for yours. But I'm gonna add some to my forehead. Anyways, for under $10, I had to put them in this video because I do think that they're super, super nice. And of course, they're brand new. And I think it's definitely worth the money. I mean, look how stunning this looks. So before we add the blush, I'm gonna add some concealer because it's just the order that I prefer to go. If you guys watch my channel a lot, you probably have heard me talk about this concealer a lot, but for under $10, this is definitely my new favorite. This is the Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Finish Concealer. I have the shade C6, which at first I was like, this is way too light, but now I'm kind of loving it. Only downside, it kind of smells like paint thinner, but other than that, this is going to be like a very thin consistency, soft matte concealer that is gonna give you like a medium to full coverage. I really like it. I think if you have like extremely dry under eyes, just prep with an eye cream. And yeah, it's just like an easy concealer, to be honest. It kind of took me by surprise. I don't tend to have like the biggest hopes with concealers because I'm very picky, but this one is really nice and I've been using it a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this under the eyes, and I'm also gonna use whatever is left and put it on my eyelids as eyeshadow primer because I don't really tend to use like eyeshadow primers other than just concealer because that's just what works for me. All right, so now we look pretty snatched. Now let's go in with the blushes. So again, I'll just use one shade on each so that you guys can see them both. Me personally, I just love the darker tone. Even though it's called Berry Radiant, I think it's more of like a dusty berry rose. It's not like super on the purpley side. Very, very pretty though. So the difference between the contours as the blushes, as you guys can see, is that these are literally metallic, which is definitely like all the rage right now. I mean, obviously it looks a lot like the Charlotte Tilbury ones. And that's why I think that when you use these blushes, you definitely don't need a highlighter on top, but if you're into that, then go right ahead. I really have been liking these because as you can see, they're not like extremely pigmented, which for a product like this that is like super shimmery, I definitely like that. You can obviously build it up. We can add a little bit more. The only thing I will say about that is that I believe this is the darkest shade, and so if you have like very deep skin, this will definitely look more like a blush lighter. Now on the other side, we're gonna add the Rosé You Slay. I haven't tried this one on my face yet. I think this is one of like the more popular ones because I believe that it looks a lot more like the Charlotte Tilbury ones. I'm gonna wipe my brush off. So let's go ahead and blend this out. They look very similar. This one is actually giving more of like a pinky coral, and then this one looks more of like a, again, like a rose, like a sunburnt rose berry. I know that's a lot of shades, but it's giving me more like sunburnt vibes. I think that they're both really, really pretty. Last thing I will say about these blushes is that I really do like them because you guys know I like to layer, and even when I layer a matte powder blush over these, the shine still comes through. So I think that's really, really beautiful. So thumbs up to that. Okay, and then lastly, let's talk about the highlighter wand. Let's go ahead and use this to maybe on the nose and like at the top of the cheekbones. It is a pretty pale champagne shade, but I think it works beautifully. You know what? I will say that highlighter really did add a lot of glow on top of that. So I guess you can definitely amp it up even more if you want to. But they're all blending beautiful together. So I definitely think that these products deserved a spot in this video because they're under $10 and they're beautiful and they're super hyped, but I think they're worth the hype. Moving on to some setting powder. Now this, again, you guys have seen a lot in my channel, but at least you know that I really truly love it. This is also from Makeup Revolution. So these two go really, really well together. I know you can't see it because I use it that much, but it's just called the Revolution like press setting powder. I got the shade Translucent. This actually works really, really great for drier under eyes. So that's why I think that they do pair pretty well together. I feel like when it comes to powders, sometimes you have to give up certain features of a powder. Like you want to have like that blurred skin, but you don't want to be like dry. But maybe you want to have matte skin, but you don't want your skin to be dried. So I think that this is a powder that kind of does it all. By the way, a lot comes off, so I just like to kind of dust off or tap off any excess. And I like to pat. And even though it is translucent, it is brightening, but they don't have any flashbacks. I mean, truly so beautiful, so inexpensive. I'm the type of girl that likes to set my whole face, so I'm just gonna take a brush. And I'm just taking a light layer and I'm setting the whole thing. But once you let it sit for a minute, you guys will see that the e.l.f. glow ones, the glow comes through and it looks stunning throughout the day. It just looks really, really nice. By the way, these products are good because I am sweating right now. I don't know what's going on with my AC, but I am so hot. And the makeup still looks great. So for bronzer, this is like a very pretty bronzer and I feel like not a lot of people talk about it. It's not like the newest, but I wanted to bring it back into your radar. So this is the Revlon Skinlights bronzer. They do have highlighters as well as bronzer. This is in the shade Sun-Kissed Beam 115. I feel like not a lot of people talk about these, and to be honest, this is one of like the most luxurious feeling bronzer. Like to me, this feels high-end, and see how it has like a glow, but it's not shimmery. It's one of those like healthy glows. I love it. This kind of reminds me a lot of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer Formula in the sense that it like adds that pigment without dryness and it adds glow without shimmer, and it just feels luxurious. It looks beautiful on the skin. It looks like skin, and I just love it. And I think that this is definitely underrated. To be honest, I was trying to figure out what bronzer to use, and I have a lot of bronzers that I love, but I realized that they were not under $10. And then when I saw that this was, I was like, what? And for blush, again, this is another product that you see a lot on my channel, but I had to add it to one of these 10 and under makeup looks because this is one of my favorite blushes ever. Again, you don't even know what it is because that's how much I use it. This is the Essence Pure Nude Blush in the shade Rosy Rosewood. Again, stunning, feels high-end. To be honest, this is going to be a baked product, and this one is very similar to that bronzer in the sense that it doesn't have shimmer, but just has a little bit of a healthy glow. Obviously, because we do have the e.l.f. wands under, it's going to look like it is, you know, like a shimmery blush, but it's not. But it looks beautiful by itself. It looks beautiful over these glow ones. See how that glow just doesn't stop? These actually are not like extremely pigmented. They might kind of look like it, but remember we do have that blush under, but they're super buildable. These two products kind of remind me of Hourglass products. So, you know, nothing that is going to be too much, but once applied on the skin, it just looks gorgeous and it really just like completes the whole look. So for brow powder, I usually just use eyeshadow when it comes to like drugstore products. So I'm just gonna stick to what I know and use my handy dandy, dirty, used and abused e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow in the shade Pumpkin Pie. The only reason why I'm using this is because I love this shade for my brows. But again, just use whatever eyeshadow. Like, you don't have to get a brow powder in general. I just couldn't find like a brow powder product from the drugstore that I love that is under $10, so I didn't want to just like add it in just to add it in. Because these are products that I like really, really do love. Like, these are not just affordable products that I know of. Like, you guys see how my makeup looks. Like, obviously I love using these products. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of eyeshadow because I kind of like to fill them in first and then go in with a brow gel. My favorite drugstore brow gel under $10 is this one. The reason why I keep saying under $10 is because sometimes I have other products that I like more from the drugstore, but these are strictly under $10. So this is the NYX Brow Glue. Now, a lot of you guys probably know of the original one, which is just a clear brow glue. I also really like that one, but I love the tinted one even more because it just fills in my brows even more. So I have the shade medium brown. It's really nice. I like the formula, and I think it gives enough hold. Like, it's not the most hold you'll ever see, but it's also not nothing. It's like a medium hold, and I like how little the brush is because you really can just get in there. It's not overly tinted. Obviously, it's gonna look dark right now because I do have eyeshadow under, but something about it just works perfectly because you don't have to be like too careful with it. It's like, again, medium hold, medium tint. So it's just a really pretty product. I really like it. So for eyeshadow, I think some of the best palettes you could get at the drugstore under $10 are definitely the new Milani Gilded Minis. They did come out with a whole collection with a bunch of different shades. I do use this one a lot, so maybe we should do something a little bit more fun so I can show you guys the shimmer shades as well. This is what it looks like, Champagne Problems, and I love everything about it. I like the packaging, I like how big the shades are, I like how many shades there are. I feel like a lot of companies come out with like quads, but I like this one comes with more shades because sometimes you just want more shades, especially when you're traveling. Really nice formula. It blends really nice with each other. The mattes are pretty, the shimmers are pretty. Something that I think the drugstore tends to lack in a lot is eyeshadows. Eyeshadow palettes. I think that drugstores come out with a lot of really pretty single shadows, but not a lot of just nice eyeshadow palettes, especially under $10. I'm gonna grab the like rustic red orange shade and start building it up on the outer corner to start adding some more smokiness and a little bit more of that red shade. Grabbing the like very muted plum shade just to add a little bit of smokiness to the outer lash line. Going in with the gold shade on my finger, and we're just gonna put that everywhere. See how reflective and metallic and stunning this is? And it's not chunky, it's more of like a thinner formula. And I'm not even using a wet brush, look at that. And then just to mute it down a little bit, I'm going to finish off with the shimmer shade. This one is less metallic, it's more of like a true shimmer, and I said that weird, shimmer. And I'm going to kind of blend, do a little bit of like a little ombre. I smoked out my lower lash line, but I definitely think that the proof is in the pudding. As you guys can see, so high quality and so inexpensive. So I'm gonna tightline with one of my favorite eyeliners at the moment in general, but of course under $10 drugstore. It is the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner Pen, but I got it in the shade Blackout. And let me just say, it is the most pigmented and emollient and easy to use black eyeliner there is, and I love using it for my upper waterline. The only thing I will say is that this is not like transfer proof, like it will transfer down to my lower lash line, but when I say that this is like creamy and black and everything you want, like it's right there. This would also be a really good like smudger eyeliner for like a smudgy look. I mean, super nice, and I just can't believe the quality for how inexpensive it is. And then I do want to add a quick liquid liner. To be honest, I don't remember which one I used in my last video, but I'm pretty sure I used this one. It's just the best for under like $5. This is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Eyeliner. It does have a brush tip, which is my favorite. This specific one that I'm using is the skinny one. They do have a regular sized one. Both of them work really great. If I'm being honest, I do prefer the regular sized one just because it takes you a little bit less time to do your eyeliner, but this one is definitely more precise. They're both great. Again, really good pigmentation, darkness, waterproof, transfer proof, and I just think that you really do get a lot of bang for your buck. Moving on to mascara. This is one of the newer mascaras that I've tried, but it really has taken me by surprise, and I've used it quite a bit of time since that video because it's really, really nice. This is the LA Girl Lift Off Mascara. This is the weirdest looking mascara, but it works. It has the tiniest wand, and as you guys can see, it's like very skinny and then very thick. And something about it just gives me like a very dramatic and wispy, feathery effect, and I love it. It does give me volume length. Not the best for like a lot of separation, but again, it's gonna give you more of like a wispy, feathery look. And I really like it, and it's so inexpensive. Okay, so that was 2 coats on my lashes, and see how beautiful it is. Like, I just am so surprised by this, but it works really well. So if you have been maybe thinking about buying it, I think it's really nice. Before I take off my lip balm, I just want you guys to see how that e.l.f. lip mask still is just looking super nice and juicy, and it feels amazing on the lips. And now my lips are ready for some lip products. There's gonna be a lot of lip liners at the drugstore that are super nice, but the one that's under $10 that I think is the most long wearing and pigmented and creamy is the NYX Shine Loud liners. I don't think that they have the best shade range, but the formula, it really is unmatched. It's, I think, my most long wearing lip liner that I own. In the same category as a couple of my high-end ones. Like I mentioned, I don't love the shade range. I just wish there was a couple more nude selections. But today we're going to be using the shade Magic Maker. Next time that you're in Ulta, grab one of the testers, swatch them in the back of your hand, let it dry, and you'll see that you cannot take it off. And then for the lipstick, this is, I think, one of the best products in the drugstore in general for, again, also longevity. It is the NYX Superstay Ink Vinyl. Today we're going to use the shade Peppy, which I think will go really well with the warm shadow that we have going on. It's going to be a liquid lipstick that it also has like a glossy finish, but it doesn't move. I actually wore the shade Peachy my wedding day, and it looked great, and I didn't have to reapply. Such a pretty shade. You really don't actually need a lip liner with these products. I think that the darker liner definitely made this shade look a lot darker than it is. It's really not that dark at all, actually. This is what the shade should look like. But anyways, as you guys can see, it does have a glossy finish. The glossiness over time definitely does fade, but it is just one of the most long-wearing yet comfortable liquid lipsticks that I've ever tried, and they have so many beautiful shades. And to set the face, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick to my tried and true. This is the e.l.f. Micro Setting Mist Stay All Night. This is going to be a really nice setting spray. Again, it's a micro mist, and it's going to make your makeup last all day long, and it's super inexpensive. Alrighty guys, so here is the final look. Would you guys have noticed that I only used products under $10? Like, truly, these products are super nice. And like I mentioned, I have so many more recommendations. I could keep doing these videos, and I will. I'll keep updating them, but definitely check out the description box if you want to see older ones with different products that are still just as good. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!